Hey friends, I am back in the kitchen. I haven't made a cooking video. In this case, it's going to actually be a baking video in a long time. And so just a quick little catch up. If you've missed me, I have a few followers, so maybe. I had some major ankle surgery on June 14th. I had my ankle pretty much reconstructed. It's now working on fusing itself together. It wasn't from an injury, a recent injury anyway. I injured it in high school, and it's caught up to me 35 years later. And because of that, I've been 100% non-weight bearing all summer long. I've had a cast on my foot. I still do. So I'm actually seated at my kitchen counter to make this quick recipe because I just have to get back out there and start sharing with you all. I just am so excited to have a great audience of people that want to learn more about some of the cool things I do in the kitchen. And so today we are going to start off with a peach shortbread recipe. That's my oven. If you hear that little chime in the background, I'm preheating it already. So I'm going to start off with a peach shortbread recipe. And I will give credit where credit is due. This is not my recipe. It's off of smittenkitchen.com. And I will check to see if she's got a link over here on this platform. And if so, I will for sure tag her in it because I don't want to steal somebody's recipe without giving her credit. But this is my all-time favorite summer recipe. Maybe it's for sure my favorite sweet. Caprese salad is probably my other favorite summer recipe. And this is such a simple recipe. And I actually started making it a little bit last night. And the reason is that it needs browned butter. And so it needs 2 sticks of brown butter. And this is what browned butter looks like. And you're like, well, that's kind of disgusting. It's re-solidified because the recipe, in order to brown butter, you have to heat it up. And so you can see here on the bottom, it's got a nice brown flavor. And you have to heat it up and it goes through a couple stages. If you go over to Deb's page on smittenkitchen.com, she gives you really good play-by-play steps on how to brown butter. It is not hard at all. And I just had it on my stove while I was cutting up a watermelon last night, and it took exactly the same amount of time. I put it in this container, stuck it in the fridge so that it could re-solidify because what we need it for today is to solidify. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put flour, baking powder, sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg in this bowl. I'll be right back. Okay, I have my ingredients measured. So there is a cup of sugar, 2 cups plus 2 tablespoons of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. And I've also chunked up my browned butter and put it in here. And now I'm going to use my pastry blender. If you don't have a pastry blender, you could use 2 forks. I love my pastry blender. I use it for a lot of things besides pastry. I actually like it to use to make guacamole and mash up my avocados. I use it when I make egg salad. So it's got a lot of great uses. So this is definitely a tool that I think is an important one to have in your kitchen. So I'm gonna use this and blend this around until it's good and crumbly. So after you have it blended in with the pastry blender, and it's just going to look kind of crumbly, and you just don't want any really big chunks. This one's pretty big, but I think it's about the only one that's a little too big. But you don't want bigger than about a nickel size at the absolute biggest. Mostly you want them to be pea size or smaller. Then you're going to take 1 egg, and you're going to crack that in there. And I think Deb's recipe says to scramble it first. I just kind of crack it on top and then just kind of scramble it around a little bit before I stir it in. So then I'm going to stir it in with a mixing spoon. And this is not going to make this dough a wet dough at all. It's going to be very crumbly, okay, very crumbly. But you've got a cup of butter in here. So when that butter all melts down, it will come together when it bakes, okay? And then once you've got your egg thoroughly incorporated, you are going to take your pan and you're going to butter it first. I know that seems really crazy to butter a pan. You're going to put with this much butter in, and I forgot to do that. So I'm going to grab my butter real quick, and I'm going to butter the pan, and then I'm going to put 3/4 of my crumbs in there. And then I'm also going to slice up 2 peaches, and I'll be back. Okay, so my 2 peaches are washed and cut up, and now I'm going to take them and lay them in the pan, and I lay them pretty because I think this is pretty. Also, I leave the peels on the peaches because it makes the color just so much more vibrant and pretty. So you can see I'm just kind of laying them in there, and this should be just exactly enough. Sometimes I even end up with a couple slices left to sample. It usually makes 3 peach slices wide. So I guess I've never really counted how many going down the aisle. I might have cut these a little thick. It's looking like we're maybe gonna be 3 slices short this time. And I promise I didn't snitch any while I was cutting it up. So after I get these peaches in here, then I'm gonna sprinkle the rest of that topping. I'm literally gonna be 3 slices short. Oh my gosh, do you see this? 3 slices short. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quick grab another peach, rinse it off, and I'm gonna slice that. And now I'm gonna have 2/3 of a peach left for a little snack here, because this will be in the oven for a while. So I'm gonna add the extra 3 slices. I probably, these peaches are a tiny bit smaller maybe than a normal peach, I don't know. Anyway, or if I hadn't had any more extra peaches, I could have picked up a couple peaches and sliced them in half, because like I said, I probably cut them a little thick. This is my first batch of this summer, so I'm out of practice. So I put the kind of streusel topping on, and now this you don't press down. You just leave it crumbly on top like that, and then you pop it into the oven, a 375-degree oven, for, I think it's 30 minutes, and I will confirm that when I'm back. Okay, I'm back, and it's out of the oven, and it was at 375 for 30 minutes, and my oven is pretty spot on with that. You want it to be nice and golden brown, but not dark brown all the way around on the edges. And then you want to take it out, and you for sure, even though your house smells amazing right now, I cannot tell you how delicious that brown butter smells in here, you want to let this cool. Or when you cut your bars, they just totally collapse. They're very flaky and crumbly anyway, but you for sure want to let this cool. So I'll be back with a plated pick in a little bit. It's cool. It's time for an afternoon snack. So I am going to just use my paring knife and cut this, and it's super just delicious. The smell, and I'm gonna cut 4 this way, I think, and 3 across, and then I have my bar cookie scoop. And, oh, I didn't quite cut through that peach there. So we'll catch that. And you can see this comes out. And these are not great bars like to eat with your fingers. I like to eat them with a fork. They're a little more desserty. And you can see that pretty peach color in there. And it is just so good. So let me know what types of videos you'd like more of. I live in Nebraska, and sweet corn is in season right now. So I think I'm going to do some fun sweet corn recipes coming up here next week. So be looking for those. But in the comments, please let me know any recipe ideas you'd really like to see. Thanks for watching.